I watched Megamind 2, so you don't have to. Oh god. Some people like to spend their Fridays out and about, socializing with friends or whatever. I spend it watching crap like this. Because yes, even though I'm based in the UK, I managed to get a subscription with Peacock and witness the marketing disaster that is both Megamind 2 and also the Megamind TV series that they haven't really marketed as a separate project up to this point. My viewing had just constant bitrate issues, there was so much buffering, and that's just additional graphical errors that doesn't help considering how the rest of this damn movie looks. I assume you haven't seen Megamind 2, you probably have at least a modicum of respect for yourself. But if you were to imagine the generic story of what is essentially a TV episode with a TV budget expanded to 90 minutes for some reason, yeah, the story's exactly how you'd expect. Now, we've already covered the first 6 minutes of this movie because they plugged it on YouTube for some reason, featuring all the classic red flags, like the fact that one of Megamind's first lines,
"Hello, loyal viewers,"
is just so arrogant, considering this is clearly not the same Megamind and not being produced under any kind of angle other than greediness. Anyway, the other things they already exposed in the first 6 minutes is that there's a trio of fish people, and general villainy things happen. It's a standard, very basic, boring fight sequence. The soundtrack is just doing that very low-budget TV thing where it's just constantly playing and then just emphasizing every motion but not really bringing any real arty element to the whole production. And how's about the fact that Megamind's character, as the guy who loves presentation and quips, doesn't even quip mid-action to anything. In fact, it's to the point that by the end of the sequence, he literally says,
"Ugh, Chum, make a note. No more puns. They're beneath us."
How can you manage to take the IP of Megamind and completely misunderstand and butcher the character in this reintroduction? But okay, let's get into the stuff that you haven't seen. I'll keep this brief as we'll jump through chunks of the story, but to be honest, you can kind of guess most of the details. So on the character front, Minion here is no longer named Minion, their name is now Chum, and they feel undercredited. Megamind, for the sake of plot, is randomly now just completely disregarding Minion's efforts as a sidekick, calling himself a solo hero, and just leaving the guy in the dirt. So Chum ends up leaving. Honestly, I'm kind of down with the idea of naming him something else because he's certainly not Minion anymore. Meanwhile, Roxanne is now sad about the fact that she's a successful journalist, saying that she's unhappy with her job and wants to strive for something else. Again, just plotline, completely out of character to add something new to expand the story more. And then there's this other new character involved. This is Kaiko. She's a little child who just spawns in everywhere. And you'll never guess what her role is in this movie.
I'm also your new social media manager, streaming content creator, and image consultant.
Yes, she's representative of the child social media manager influencer type. Do you remember how in the early days of a Megamind sequel news, they were talking about Megamind wanting to become an influencer? Yeah, they lost that in the marketing, but it's still here, somewhat. And this kid, as we're gonna come to learn, is just a total self-insert. Clearly, she's the age demographic for what they're aiming for, so a lot of this script is just very, very basic. But also, this child is just ungodly smart and has the answer for everything in this whole movie. She just trounces over the entire plotline. But we'll get there when we get there. On the other side of things, we come to learn about the Doom Syndicate. You've seen them before. They look awful. The bloody lava guy is just literally ripped out of a 2006 cartoon, it feels like. His name's Behemoth, by the way. The others are Nighty Night, Miss Doppler, I think, and Peer Pressure. I mean, hey, I can at least respect the name Peer Pressure. I don't know if it's going to be outdated soon that he's just a French guy with a French accent. But also, you'll notice this entire introduction scene not only is just overt exposition as they each name each other and then say what their powers are, but it's also just a black void of a room. It really is. There is no budget in the animation. There's no effort in any of this. I mean, it's literally just the quality of a TV series that they have stretched into a 90-minute runtime. And that's especially clear because it looks identical to the TV show they've also released right now. Though I do at least like the reveal that they were just in prison, hiding in a dark corner. But let's be honest, it was just them cheesing their way out of actually putting in any animation in the background. And so then suddenly the Doom Syndicate get out of prison and the conflict begins. Except it doesn't, because it turns out The Doom Syndicate already knew that Megamind was a hero. They saw it on their TV in prison. So the very first thing they do is they congratulate him. The trailer itself has literally been lying to you because they do know that he's a hero. Oh, but no, sorry. Then they backpedal again because they think him being a hero is actually an act. And he's actually a villain pretending to be a hero, rather than a hero pretending to be a villain pretending to be a hero. Any kind of nuance there about them saying, oh, you should keep up your disguise so that we can trick them even more? No, doesn't come into fruition. Instead, now that they're here, they want to go on to a big evil plan. That big evil plan being...
we break in Megamind City with a good old-fashioned crime spree.
Yeah, and what they mean by a crime spree is all four of them walking together on a singular street, no population really to be found, as they vaguely attack property. It is the most watered-down, uninteresting format of a villain aspect you can imagine. And that's not even addressing the fact that there was no point in the original movie where there was space for Megamind to have a Doom Syndicate. He specifically was left isolated alone and grew up in prison all his life. Oh man, and I just skipped over one of the worst bits. It's the Doom Syndicate meeting Roxanne. Apparently, they know each other vaguely somehow, but also, the way they present this is they're surprised to see Roxanne. Megamind takes Roxanne to the back to explain something. They go back to talk to the Doom Syndicate again with the exact same backgrounds and the same damn shots. Then she goes backstage again to talk about, you know, the double, triple secret agent Megamind's being in the minute. And then they go back again. It's the exact same background, and it's so clearly poorly produced. It's like, what a waste of time all of this is. Also, you know how at the end of Megamind, they kind of established that there's a proper romantic relationship going on between Roxanne and Megamind? You know, they go on several dates, and he wins the girl by the end? That's now gone now, with the Doom Syndicate saying that there's always been romantic tensions, and the two now having to pretend to be husband and bride to stick with the evil thing. Oh god, the whole thing is just awful. There's some other beats going around. Minion's got his own work now at a diner that he fixes up. Megamind saves that child again that just spawned in from a TV falling on her. And Megamind is forced to rob a bank in front of the Doom Syndicate. There's none of this element of understanding that Megamind's pretending to be a hero and doing something bigger. The Doom Syndicate just want him to do basic crime in front of the people that trust him. That's all. And so with him floundering inside, the Doom Syndicate outside, suddenly, the child just spawns in again. Doesn't go through the door, nobody notices her. Here she is with all of the solution.
It's
a safety drill.
Huh?
This child is literally just so blazingly just one big Deus Ex Machina. It's practically insulting. There are some other scenes to see. Roxanne apparently has an audience with the mayor. Don't know how she got into his office so easily, but she did. And this mayor now is just a complete anxious wreck for the sake of storytelling. Molded specifically around the guy that Titan flicked, who I think was just a random civilian before? I don't know. And also now there's a dance party in the lair. Despite the fact that the general public are supposedly supposed to be scared of the Doom Syndicate, as much as I've barely seen people in this entire city, here's a bunch of people around for the party. Oh, apparently they were all criminals. But we never saw them get exposed from the bank. We never saw them leave. They just spawned in like everybody else in this damn movie. And in the middle of all of this buffoonery with the fish trio appearing again, oh no, Megamind goes on to do this.
DJ, put another stanky groove in my pocket.
I mean, this is just embarrassing. It's a cringy display that's meant to distract the crowd from the fish trio, but how is dancing in the middle of the room gonna stop them talking ear to ear to a person? Oh, well, it does, because the fish trio decide to fight him on the dance floor. Instead, I don't know, man. And don't even think about looking into the background, because you're just gonna see a bunch of soulless animation loops. It's the forbidden view that explains why they put so little people in the background before. Anyway, after the song's over, Megamind's had enough and shoots the three into tiny hydration cubes, which is nice as a callback to the first movie, but they literally never invent anything else again in this movie, other than a bird. We'll get there. And after a few more beats, Minion's improving the business. Roxanne made muffins or something. We come to learn about phase 2 of the evil Megamind plan that he once lied about, whereby they're going to shoot the city into the moon. To be fair, I guess that does sound like a perfectly evil Megamind idea. And so then the next drama for the next 10 minutes is the Doom Syndicate trying to get into the launch room with Megamind pretending he doesn't know the code. It's at this point, at his lowest point, that Megamind comes to learn that he really does appreciate Chum as a friend. Although he's really only asking for his help as a colleague, it kind of comes out of nowhere that he suddenly has a change of heart that understands the entire message or whatever this TV show's trying to say. They want to go and visit Minion, and they get stopped by a bouncer hostess. And then once again, the child just spawns in with the perfect solution.
Worth mentioning the restaurant's cockroach infestation.
Roach infestation.
And then one simple scene later, you can guess where it goes. Megamind goes to Chum, realizes he's got it perfect as he is, and leaves him alone. Thank you for making it halfway through this video on this terrible production. I appreciate you making it this far in, but do check down below whether you're actually subscribed, as it does a really big job at helping me out, and keeps you in the loop for all the other terrible Megamind updates that are sure to come. Obviously, we'll get to it later, but believe it or not, there is a post-credit that insinuates another sequel coming. But beyond that, let us know suggestions of other things you'd like to see down in the YouTube comments or on our Discord server. Otherwise, I will let you get back to the terrible Megamind sequel. What is my life? What a Friday. So you know eventually in this Megamind sequel there's going to be a confrontation with the Doom Syndicate? Well, here it is.
And boom goes your days of freedom.
Megamind then just goes on to ramble a bunch of different prison puns, saying he's solved everything he could ever worry about, and then the bloody thing malfunctions for some reason. And Megamind's response, and I kid you not, is literally...
It's a prank, bros.
I mean, I know that this is 2 days after the 2010 movie, but what decade are we in? Truly, this writing is riveting. Megamind is then defeated by the Syndicate. He ejector seats his way out, although I'm not sure if they ever even established that it was an ejector seat that could have fixed him, and he goes on to be homeless and sad. Which is where Roxanne and Kaiko show up to give him all the pep talk he needs.
I want you to get off your butt and save the city. You're the only one who can.
Can't Metro Man also do the same thing? What is Markiplier up to in this universe? And then, of course, because it's Kaiko, one talk later and he's all ready and fixed up. Storytelling. Oh, and on the side, Chum also makes a reappearance. He's done with the donut work, because he likes to feel always needed from the chaos of working with Megamind. Okay. So after Megamind has his homeless moment and big old pep talk, everyone's come together. What do you think follows next before the big confrontation? Well, you're not going to guess it right because they go to a supermarket for the next 5 minutes. It's one incredibly long montage of them shopping in this incredibly bland supermarket. There's nary another customer here. A montage plays with the jingle of the supermarket that's to the point that I actually wouldn't be surprised if this is legitimately a real supermarket advert just put in there to get some money. They'll just go into the CEO of Peacock's wallet rather than any animation budget. And it's literally the same shot they keep referring back to show as a transition in the middle of this montage. Oh my god, it's awful. And finally it ends. And then just Megamind shows up on the screen inside of the launch room, happy as Larry with a 5-minute countdown that doesn't make him unwavered at all. And so learning that Megamind's nearby, the villains don't stay in the launch room where the cancel button is. No, they go out to fight him whilst Minion sneaks through the air vents that would take him to the launch room instead. You know, it's like... it's just so crap. But trust me, it gets worse. So Megamind's out here, right? This blue alien dude that's known for his scientific inventions, you know? Big on presentation and a bit of a weird, quippy dude. What does he have for the final climactic moment of versus the Doom Syndicate after shopping at the equivalent of Home Base or Home Depot? What he's come to as a conclusion is inventing an ordinary tennis ball machine. It's just a tennis ball projector on the back. It's not got any robotic mechanical components. It's not shot very well since, you know, you've seen that slow-mo shot from the trailer. And that's his big, bright plan. Pelt them with tennis balls. And that is it. And on the vaguely better front, you then have Minion running through this giant air duct to avoid a bunch of laser beams, dropping down to dodge them, shooting each other, and then actually jumping out of his suit to do the final bit. Honestly, this is just retelling the ending of Megamind 1. He's out of the suit by the end of that and in a fountain, you know? But they are too late. The city flies up into the sky, the mayor freaks out and doesn't take any accountability. The kid, of course, spawns in to tell Roxanne to give the perfect speech, and her response to the city flying into the sky, I can't believe this. How do you not think about this in the writing? Her advice is literally, listen to this.
Solve panic and steer people indoors or underground.
But they're in the air, Roxanne! They're going to fall into the f***ing void! So anyway, in the final moments, the fish trio are now in the launch room. They fight against Minion without his suit, which could have been interesting, but there's nothing even close to good choreography here. He presses the button to cancel, and everyone plunges down to their deaths. Megamind then just continues to delay things against the Syndicate, saying the leader can only be defeated by the new leader, and the whole Syndicate are constantly arguing over who is the leader. It's content, I guess. Megamind runs down into like a kind of quarry construction site. I'm genuinely baffled. What is it with all of these low-budget TV series making quarry backgrounds for their locales? Like, is it a thing? I remember the Boss Baby TV series finished here. Like, what is this? Is it because it's easy to make and vaguely choreographable? I don't know, man. Anyway, on a complete other pulled out of their arse front for this final climactic moment, turns out Megamind did do something beyond a single tennis ball machine. He, on the side, invented Poly 227, which is a parakeet version of a brain bot. Is it really an invention? It just sounds like a brain bot with different decor. This bird then goes on to have all of the animation choreography emphasis on it. None of the established characters get this, but for like 30 seconds, this bird perfectly flies towards the lair, flings through the air ducts, dodges every laser, comes out to the launch room, and presses the button. Why couldn't you put that on Megamind, man? Why is it on this robot bird? Just a generic thing. They never established they were inventing it. There was no insinuation that anything was being invented at all. But hey, they did at least announce that Chum had been asking for a parakeet for ages, so I guess that's establishing it. Weird Deus Ex Machina aside, time for the final fight against the Doom Syndicate in some random construction site, whereby peer pressure is cemented into concrete. Doesn't that burn in real life? Nighty Night is put to sleep by peer pressure accidentally. Gale is zapped by copper wire. What a surprise, the electric lady is killed by electricity. You know, the most generic ending you could really get on that front. And then for Behemoth, oh my god. So, they're specifically down in a quarry, right? We saw them run down a hill, yeah? You understand the logic of the design of this background? One of the only lands that isn't flat, yeah? Well, here's how they defeat Behemoth.
Fall for oldest trick in the...
Like, how is Megamind this bad at detail? Nighty Night also, I guess, wakes up and is defeated by a flash grenade from the kid.
Oh, guess it was a flash grenade.
I mean, you spoiled it in the trailer, but yeah, sure, King. The city is then landed after everyone pulls down on the lever because you need your moment of friendship, and the day is saved. I mean, I say the day is saved. I mean, that looks pretty lethal. That's a lethal amount of rubble to get kicked up everywhere. If only the city was populated, maybe then it would have actually been some destruction. And they celebrate to themselves saying, you saved the city? No, we saved the city. Yeah, okay. The mayor is upset that they put the city on backwards. It's for some reason at this point that Peacock decided to give me an advert. This streaming service is awful, man. It's placed horribly, and it keeps ruining the bitrate every time it does. And Roxanne comes to the conclusion that she could be a better mayor than the mayor. So, there she is, immediately elected as the mayor. Written out like a proper fan fiction. Apparently journalism wasn't enough. She couldn't be satisfied after a satisfying ending to a good movie. No, she had to literally just keep progressing further to really write themselves into a corner. It's then at the end of all places where they finally show the Megamind symbol from the trailer. The final shot is indeed that parakeet shot that I thought looked like a Megamind JPEG back in the trailer days. And the literal final line before the post-credit scene, yes, there is a post-credit scene, is this. Keeping the Megamind legacy classy. Thanks, Peacock. Did you think there was only a Megamind 2? I'm sorry to break it to you, but there is a post-credit scene in Megamind 2, and it apparently suggests that there's gonna be more. What the scene is the Doom Syndicate in prison once again. Somehow they got peer pressure out of the concrete he was slabbed into last time, and then another villain appears. I kid you not. And this is what he has to say.
Machiavellian, and who taught Megamind everything he knows.
Yes, you heard that right. Megamind, apparently, had a mentor from when he was graduating villain school, which he also announced in this terrible sequel. Forget the fact that he spent all of his life in prison and grew up around criminals. Not only did he have a team of friendly villains, he also had a mentor, a spin-off of the minion body type. You can trust Megamind 2 on one singular thing: how to tarnish the legacy of an original classic movie. If there was ever one trait you could take away from Megamind as a character, it's that he loves his presentation, which is exactly why all of the projects they're planning on Peacock couldn't be more of a stain. Now we just wait 4 more months and there'll be a Megamind 3. So on that dreadful note, I'm gonna end things off here. There is of course also Megamind Rules, which I'll get around to watching. Expect a video on it maybe in the next week. And I'll be curious to hear if they actually make a series out of these, because not only are they cheap, but they are controversial. But maybe that makes them popular. I certainly paid money to watch this. I'm sorry. I had no other choice from the UK. So tell us your predictions. What could they possibly add to the third movie to really twist the knife and ruin Megamind's legacy? As for now, my name's Daz. Thank you for making it all the way to the end of this. Let us know any other suggestions you have on our Discord or the YouTube comments down below, and I will see you in a little bit.